25 basis point cut was delivered, and we spurred higher in the intraday for the SPY, QQQ, and some selective stocks. However, the reason why this is titled mixed signals is I'm seeing some things that we really didn't spur higher on a lot of our main names, such as Apple should have ran to the highs a little bit more than it did. In my opinion, NVDA should have recovered a little bit more, but there's still selling pressure on NVIDIA. So some of our top names that move the market and have been moving the market for the entirety of 2025 and prior in 2024 and beyond, we didn't really see that today. We just saw a nice squeeze to the upside. So in today's video, what I want to do is I just want to educate everybody on what we could see next and how this could play out one way or the other. How do we get to that 700 SPY all-time high print by the end of the year, that Santa rally that everyone wants, all right? We'll also talk a little bit about Oracle and how Oracle had some mixed guidance with its earnings and plummeted down roughly 10+% after hours. All right. Welcome to the channel, everybody. My name is Dr. B. If you've never been here before, welcome. If you have, welcome again. I appreciate the support on the channel. We are growing tremendously. Again, all the links will be down below. If you've been here, you already know how it is. A lot of you are still making decisions, staying on the platform of YouTube, which is perfectly fine. I'm going to continue to deliver value. But if you do want to jump into the next level, you can join our newsletter for free. Just jump on the WAP platform, message our team, have any questions like, hey, Brian, like I'm interested or I'm looking for more information. I enjoy the YouTube videos, whatever you want to say, just get more information, come inside of our community. And then if you want to take a leap into our Discord, the link is down below. There should be a small discount code as well once you're at checkout. So check the links down below. All right. Without further ado, let's jump into it and see a summary of what happened. So we had a cut of 25 basis points. That was priced in, if you watch my videos, already about 80-something% that we were going to have a rate cut. It was going to happen. But the key was, what did Fed Powell say was coming forth, right? Have you heard that term, too late Powell, right? Right. This was already expected. So every Fed meeting is essentially just leading into what's going to happen next. So what's happening in 2026? How many rate cuts can we expect? What are you seeing with the overall economic conditions? And the new Fed funds rate range is 3.5 to 3.75. If you didn't know, they're trying to get it down to that 2% inflation rate. Third cut in a row, total 75 basis points since September. The closest vote in years, 9-3. One person in the Fed wanted a 50 basis cuts, two wanted no cut. So there you go. 2025 growth upgraded to 1.7%, inflation to 2.9%, unemployment to 4.5%. Inflation uptick blamed mostly by tariffs. Powell close call, risks now balanced, no hikes on the table. Fed is now restarting short-term treasury buys. That's going to be very interesting. Stealth easing. For those that don't know what that means, I've mentioned it in prior videos recently, is that, do you remember that injection of money into the markets from 2020, right? We had that stimulus checks and then also a stimulated market where the Fed starts to print money because they just can't catch up. So they need to help essentially the overall market in general, the economy, and start stimulated with printed money. That is not necessarily the best thing, but that is the result that we're in. And if you following that injection, we had a spur higher, right? So we had a nice little run, which is what we could have coming into potentially Q1. But if you remember 2022, so my role for me personally, what I try to do is I try to stay at least in the present, but also stay at least 6 months to a year plus ahead of the game, right? So what if you would have known that injection, or some of you did already, that injection of stimulus into the markets in mid 2020 would have spurred an upside in 2021, lower rates, all those kind of things, and then 2022 just completely flipped the script, right? What if you could have prepared for that? And that is what we're seeing here. So don't want to get ahead of it. We're playing it month by month, week by week, day by day for right now. All right. The tone, cautious, data dependent, ready to pause and watch. Okay. Now, one key thing here is that, where is it? Here we go. Only one more 25 basis point expected in all of 2026. So as inflation is going to that 2% rate that they want, there's no more need for cuts, right? So that's what most people, general people want, is more rate cuts. But as you can see here, that's more hawkish than markets actually wanted. If you don't know what hawkish means, that means bearish or a little bit more sentimented to the downside. Dovish would be a little bit more bullish. Okay. So why in the world did we see the market spur higher today? I'll show you on the charts here. And it's interesting because after hours, you can see what is happening on the SPY. Let me jump into the charts here on a bigger, so some of you aren't squinting. So this is what we saw. I was looking for the overall market. If y'all been paying attention to me, I've been, because I know I have some new people on here. The markets are still in this range, like still in this chop range here. If you can see that between 682 now and roughly around 687, okay, 688. So it's in this consolidation chop range. And yes, some of you are like, well, that's bullish consolidation. We're going to all-time highs, Dr. B. Yeah, I can see that, right? But until proven that we can close and continue higher, it's tough to see what this is, right? The volatility is crazy when it is moving. You know, SPY here went from 686 all the way back down to 682, 682, all the way up to 688, pulling back. There we go. So this is bullish until proven otherwise. Okay. So why is the market pulling back in the after hours? Okay. It's because Oracle had a poor guidance report from its earnings. So if we look at Oracle here in the after hours, it's tried to spur higher and then came right back down. So that is not necessarily the best for semiconductors, tech, you know, anything dealing with Oracle in general. Let me look here. If you can see, if you don't know what Oracle is, because I do have beginners, offers integral suites of applications plus secure autonomous infrastructure of Oracle Cloud through 3 businesses: cloud, licensure, hardware, service. So cloud data, so on and so forth. All right. So in the realm of chips, cloud, data centers, all included, tech, there you go. So that is one reason the market, as you can see, QQQ is pulling back, and as you can see, SPY is pulling back a little bit. However, if we draw a Fibonacci retracement from the lows to the highs today, okay, we are still retracing back above 686. That could be a pivot point, and we just go higher tomorrow and rotate and we squeeze, or we could drop back down into 685 and rotate. Until we take out these lows, really now it needs to be 680. It needs to be 680 for sure, because it teeters on the line of these lows and just gets bought up immediately. So it needs to be 680. I would even say 679 more specifically to see any type of weakness. Other than that, the dip's getting bought. All right. So continue to trade the upside. If you are a little bit more risk averse, maybe kind of considering that we're at all-time highs, it's very, you know, yeah, we could break out, but also we got trapped up here last time. The risk to reward, then do what you do, right? That just simply means that if you want to short the pops, that's cool too, right? But just know that any shorts of pops probably are going to get bought up, so you need to get in and out, all right? Now, Brian, you were talking about something around like you didn't see a lot of big names pushing up higher. What does that mean? So when you see the overall market going higher like that, SPY, QQQ, you typically want a lot of your big tech names to be running with it. So let's look down the list here. What's Google doing today? It was running a little bit, right? But Google's still up into resistance, but it was running a little bit from 315 to 320. Okay. So Google was technically strong today. What was Apple doing? Right? Pretty flat, but off of these lows of 276 and the daily 20 right there on Apple. Cool. It held pretty strong, right? What I would love to see a little bit more is the ripping of new highs like that. Just me personally. Then I'm like, okay, everything's in tandem. Everything's moving together. I'm seeing Apple, Microsoft, Google, everything moving in the same direction. So when I say mixed signals, it does not mean I'm not bullish. It just means that there's a little bit of inconsistency right now. So Microsoft, look at that. After hours was down in the after hours, and it gapped down and a little bit continued. So another buying opportunity as long as it's above this daily 200. Okay. So Microsoft down. Meta pulling back just a little bit here, underneath 650 in the after hours. Right. So still pulling back underneath that key level of 650 that we really wanted it to hold. So we'll see what happens tomorrow. Tesla strong today. Is Tesla. It does what it wants to do. Amazon, technically strong today. Okay. Amazon, I took a little L on it just because I thought Amazon personally was going to do a pop and a fade because the market was really not moving leading up to FOMC. However, if I zoom out here, that's a technical trend change. So that is my fault. I was very aware of it, but it was pushing up into a very key technical level of 232. Resistance right there, previous lows right there, and a big fall right there. And we got some resistance right here at 232. So I was looking for Amazon to come back down that top wick and roll back underneath pre-market high and come back maybe to pre-market low or previous day low. It just never gave that. So had to take a little bit of a loss on there, and it was up, but it just could not get through that pre-market high. All good. But Amazon, technically strong above 230. As long as it holds above 230, we'll see what happens. But again, does this roll over or does it break through? We don't know. Netflix, just falling knife right now. I've got my fibs up ready for Netflix. So continue to short Netflix until it gets to this 90 level, and then we'll reassess. But it's approaching that buy zone of 89 to 90, and we'll see what happens there. Okay. Palantir had some good news overnight. So it was gapping up overnight, and it was just kind of pushing. So Palantir was one of the stronger names. AMD is typically moving with NVIDIA, and then we see what's happening with NVIDIA after hours. Still rejecting underneath 185, rejecting underneath 185, still forming lower highs. And NVIDIA was an awesome trade today, right? I should have just stuck with NVIDIA personally. I've taken this trade, I don't know how many times, off of 185 rejection, 185 rejection, 185 rejection. And the day when it falls back underneath 185, I don't take it. So it is all good. But again, weakness on your big names that are moving the market. All right. Let's look at Hood and then also crypto a little bit here. We'll check on crypto. Bitcoin. Rejecting right here at this 94. Still holding 90. So, but am watching this to see what it does. I'm watching that to see what it does. And I think we'll get a really clear indication tomorrow if you're just going to be watching the market, kind of seeing if you're taking it easy for the month of December, going into the holiday season. Just pay attention to how we react tomorrow and Friday and finish off the week. You know, kind of give us a better sentiment of what's going on. We can see a lot of red after hours here in the the crypto market. All right. So it's kind of like, for those that are new, I'll show you what ideally you would have wanted to see today. You would have, it made a nice push, and maybe it can try again tomorrow. We'll be looking at the Tuesday's highs, most likely, to see if it holds above Tuesday's highs. That's right above 685. But if it can press, you would have wanted to see a continuation and ideally a close. I told you that 690 was really my ideal marker, right? At 690, you would have wanted it to kind of close up there like that. Ideally, a strong push, and then the after hours moving up because the futures market is continuing to buy up the dip and push it higher, right? So we got one more shot, a couple more shots to get there, holding up this 680 to try to get there, all right? So we shall see what happens tomorrow. But a lot of these names, again, just still rejecting, like crazy, absolutely crazy. Wild, wild, wild. MU was very strong today. Okay, MU breaking into new highs, just monster. QCOM, I'm just salty, missed that. If you didn't know, inside of Leverage University, we call swing trades as well. So things that, you know, will play out over the course of a week, a month, so on and so forth. And pretty much called this QCOM out and just never found an entry, or never just got the entry that I wanted. Okay. Look at this QCOM when I was looking at the entry right here around the break of 170. And look at the trade idea that I drew out. Where is it? Sitting at 180 now, almost back to 185. All right. So these trade ideas, you know, that's how it played out. It played out beautifully. One that we're in right now, that shout out to my dad, because he actually got into this. I gave it to him, and he actually got into this, which was some double top Walmart puts. All that means is a double top. Once that double top presented, signaled some puts for him. He got in. He's up right now. We'll see how it plays out over the coming weeks. But I do believe Walmart can give a pullback back to these 110, 108 highs. which would be right there, and it'll be near the daily 20. All right, so watch out for this double top on Walmart if it can do something like that. If it breaks through that level, then we got some lower levels to go. But that will be my first pit stop, 108 to 110. All right, cool. So, Brian, in summary, what does this mean? Well, let me see some strong names. There's Johnson & Johnson, still pretty strong. What are some healthcare names doing? Lilly today recovered probably not much. Cool. So, Brian, what is the summary of all this? What are we thinking? All right. Number one is let the week play out. Okay. Because just because we have a bullish sentiment today, the real moves actually start conceptualizing after the Fed's decision. So the rate cut was today, had good movement. Everyone pushed it higher. Cool. Now what happens for the next 2 days is going to be very key. I've seen both situations where after a positive news event and everything's bullish, then we can continue higher. I've also seen where it flips the script, gives the whole thing back because they're still a little bit confused and we can't break a key level. So be still mindful of levels tomorrow. Trade the range. If you want to wait for that range to kind of clear out, then cool. One range that broke today that I don't think I missed. You're like, Brian, what about IWM? It broke out. Yeah, it broke out above this range. You see this consolidation here. Broke out above 253. So 253 ideally is your new support. Okay. 253 is your new support. All right. Well, peace, love, and blessings. Hopefully y'all traded safe today. I did take a red day today, a slight bit of a paper cut, seeing that I was a little bit iffy on the direction and then it spurred higher and I just didn't trust chasing it. So that is what it is. 2 out of 2 green days this week. Another, I took a red day last week. So I had 4 winning days, 1 red day, still a green week. This week I had 2 winning days, and then today I took a slight red day. So we'll see what pans out for tomorrow, finish the week strong, and I will see y'all in the next video. Peace, love, and blessings.